In this video, we'll be discussing how to create research note cards for your debate. After watching this video, I want you to be able to create a note card that you can use as a template for your research note cards, and I want you to include the 5 parts of the research note card: the topic, source and credentials, piece of information, MLA source citation, and order number. Throughout the video, we'll discuss these 5 parts. You might be asking, why are we creating research note cards at all? Well, first, it allows us to arrange our information more easily because we can simply move the note cards. Secondly, you can actually use them while you're giving your speech for the debate. Let's take a look at the front of your note card. First comes the topic of the card. This tells us what kind of information we can find on the card and makes it easier to organize them with similar cards later. Here the topic is school responsibility, so we know the topic of the card has to do with schools being responsible for something. Next comes the source with credentials. The source is simply listing who said or gave the information. The credentials tell us what it is about that person that makes them qualified to talk about this topic. It's important to remember that the source of the information may not be the same as the author of the website or article. Here, the source is William Howard. The credentials, or his credentials, are that he's a professor of educational psychology at Hale University. Next comes the note, or source information. This can include facts, definition, concrete details, quotes, examples, paraphrases, and summaries. It's important that there only be one note per card, because this makes arranging the cards easier in preparation for and during the debate. Here I have a quote: "Schools cannot be passive and reactive. Instead, schools need to be proactive." Finally, there's the order of the card. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll have a number that shows you tentatively in what order you'll present your information. Since the number here is 1, this information would be presented first. Now that we know what goes on the front of the note card, let's look at the back. Here you'll need to include an MLA citation of your source. You can use EasyBib.com to help you create the citation. Make sure that your name is also on the bottom of the back of each card so that if it is lost, I can get your card back to you. What if you take multiple notes from the same source? Well, treat the card like an in-text citation, and instead of the full MLA source citation, write the first thing that comes in the source citation. Let's look at a couple of examples. Card 1 is the first note from the source, so it has a full MLA source citation. Card 2 is another note from the same source, so it just has brown in parentheses, so that later when the cards are no longer grouped by sources, you, a classmate, or I can find the original source of the information. Before wrapping things up, let's review the goals of this video. First, I wanted you to be able to create a note card that you can use as a template for your research note cards. Secondly, I wanted you to be able to include and understand what the 5 parts of the research note card are: the topic, source and credentials, piece of information, MLA source citation, and order number. To test your knowledge and prepare for class, I'd like you to create a research note card template. Simply label the 5 parts of the note card. You do not have to do research to complete the template. Just write the words topic, source and credentials, piece of information, MLA source citation, and order number in the appropriate spots on the card. If you don't have a note card, draw 2 squares in your notebook and label the parts of the squares as if they were a note card. One of the squares should be the front of the card, and the other should be the back.